Because drifting was invented in the mountains of Japan over 40 years ago, it is commonly agreed that Japan now has some of the best drivers in the world. I mean, it makes sense. They were the ones who invented this sport. But what would happen if someone from North America, trained in Japan, came back and tried to compete? Would they just win? Well, I did just that. My dream was to drift in Japan, and when I had the opportunity to go for a year, I locked in. Mentors taught me car control, the Kansai driving style. They taught me how to see at night. So when I returned to North America, I had a belief. With the amount of practice I did in Japan, there was no way someone could outdrive me. Well, my friend presented me with that exact challenge. He runs a new drift competition here in Canada called CDS. Reluctantly, I agreed, because if I lost, I would be the laughing stock of the local drift community. But before any of that, I already faced my first problem. You see, after my last drift event with my S13 coupe, it developed a weird clicking noise coming from the rear end. Fortunately, I was able to limp it home and I kind of just forgot about it. You can definitely hear the problem. With the competition only a day away, I finally decided to try and fix it. Oh God. Alright. Yeah, that didn't take long to find our problem. Alright, let me take you guys for a tour under the car. This is the CV shaft, and one of the boots holding the grease had exploded. Luckily, I got home last time, but if this shaft breaks, the car is undrivable. So I got to work. My plan was to put a new shaft in. There she goes. It's actually a pretty simple job, and I had some brand new spare ones I bought years ago. Slide this out, there it goes. Oh God. Oh God. Finally comes out. But little did I know, there was actually an underlying problem that caused my CV shaft to blow. Something that was much more severe. Oh no, God damn it. Ah, shit. The subframe that holds the entire rear suspension of the car had somehow cracked in half, maybe just due to years of abuse. And I had two options: cancel the event or try a band-aid fix by welding it back together on the car. It's always good to kind of get your settings right before you actually try and weld the real thing. Second section right over here is what we're gonna aim for on the car, so. I decided to weld it back together the best I could, but I knew the entire rear of the car needed to be disassembled to do it properly, especially since I'm not the best welder in the world. It was late, and honestly, I was exhausted. The subframe was really contaminated with a bunch of paint, so all I needed was my horrible weld job to hold up for one event. I mean, I drifted with a crack last time, so how bad could it be? But later on, I would face the consequences of my decision in a very catastrophic way. You know, I bought this welder for like $100. It's crazy. With only a few hours of sleep, I headed to the track early in the morning. The sun was just rising. I stopped for some gas and did a quick check on the car. Right, we're about like 30 minutes away from the track. Just finished filling her up. And all the noises are gone, so guess the subframe is holding up. After getting some breakfast, I arrived at the track. I found Bryson already setting things up. Bryson! As per usual, morning started off with a quick driver's meeting.
I think we're good to go, so the pros want to hop in the cars.
And then we were straight into our practice session. Because it was my first time driving this layout, Bryson gave me some quick tips so I didn't get lost in the cones. This was my very first time out. Immediately, I noticed the surface of this track was kind of strange. My tires were making this weird noise. But I tried to ignore it and I focused on driving instead. My car felt fast. The course was kind of like a Gymkhana figure 8, and I figured it out pretty quickly. But when I was practicing with my friend Dan in his Miata, it hit me that I actually have no experience driving this style of competition at all. You see, grassroots drifting in Japan usually do solo run competitions. Big entries are the name of the game, and this is the stuff I was obsessed with. They judge you based on your proximity towards the wall, how fast you snap to angle, and how early you are on throttle. This sort of driving is extremely impressive, risky, and technical, a sort of you versus yourself type deal. And in Japan, I've actually gotten to podium in many of these competitions before. But in North America, grassroots competitions are almost always a top 32 bracket. This puts drivers directly against each other in something called a tandem battle. There is a lead driver and a follow driver, then they switch. Unlike what I was doing in Japan, how you enter doesn't matter because it's all about hitting your zones and giving the follow driver a good lead. As Bryson explained in his driver's meeting, this competition has outside zones all over the track. But regardless of what kind of drift competition you are doing, the absolute worst thing you can do in any competition is have your car straighten out. If you fall out of drift, regardless if you are the lead or the follow, you will likely be eliminated. With this knowledge, I wanted to do a few more laps to get used to the layout. My goal was to at least get to top 4 out of the 32 drivers, giving me a chance at the podium. But then on my next lap, after only doing 3 laps in total, this happened. The car wouldn't drive.
I think I broke an axle, but here we go.
That strange noise from earlier wasn't coming from my tires. It was my car warning me that something was about to go wrong. I didn't understand. Was it the diff or the CV shaft I put in? But the CV shaft was brand new. Luckily, Cullen from the Street Machine crew had his truck and tow straps ready to go.
Can I just throw it on here? Do you want me to? Okay.
I could at least get her back to the pits to swap out what I thought was just a broken CV shaft.
Hoping someone brought a spare one. I should have fucking brought my spare ones that I had. I have like a couple of them as you saw in the video, but fuck, god damn it, man, fuck.
I had confirmed that the car did indeed blow up a CV shaft, the same one that I just put in. Practice ended and I only had 30 minutes to rip this car apart and fix it. But then I noticed something. My left rear wheel was completely tweaked, and then it hit me, the subframe issue. My horrible attempt to weld it last minute, of course, failed and gave just enough room for the plunging part of the CV shaft to pop out. There was now no way to fix it before the competition. It would result in an automatic disqualification if I didn't show up on the track with the car.
Are you out? Yeah, my axle went.
But just when I was about to give up, my buddy John, who runs Valino Tire Canada, offered to let me borrow his G35 for the competition. I was now back in contention. With minutes to spare, we made it into the lineup. Battles start on the dot. The first battle for me would be the top 32 bracket. The first time out in a completely different car would be a battle against someone. I haven't even driven a car with a hydraulic handbrake before, but suddenly I got a lucky break. The car I was supposed to battle had engine issues. This meant I got something called a bye run. I just had to do a solo lap and I would move on to top 16, meaning I now had a chance to try out the car stress-free. This was sheer luck. The G35 was completely different compared to anything else I have ever driven. Immediately, I felt how heavy it was. Off throttle, it wanted to wash out, so I quickly learned I needed to keep my foot planted on the throttle no matter what. The car felt like a boat compared to the S13, but for a mostly stock car, it was pretty impressive. It was time to get to work. For my top 16 battle, I was matched against an LS swapped E46. I would lead first, and with the LS swap, I knew he would be fast. I focused on hitting all of the main outside zones. And riding the cone wall, somehow I hit a really good lead run. I had finally figured out this car. If I hit the perfect line and was smooth with my handwork, I could actually drive around all that heavy weight.
Woo! Good car, man, good car! Fuck yeah!
Now all I had to do was follow him without choking up. The judges expressed how in this specific class, it was optimal to stay a car length behind the lead driver to promote clean, incident-free driving. Any touching is a disqualification, so I followed the judges' orders, and that's exactly what I did. I gave him space to do his thing, and for a split second, he straightened. Somehow I pulled it off, and I was now in the top 8 battles. The next car I would face would be another E46, but although this one had a stock engine, it was kitted with an FDF angle kit. Again, I would start as the lead. This time, I was way smoother with my handwork, and I started to trust the car a lot more. I pulled off another clean run, hitting all of the zones. I was clearly getting much more comfortable with this car. I was able to navigate this faster section without touching the handbrake once, only relying on smooth steering input, meaning I knew I was getting better every lap I did. For my follow, I again focused on what the judges told me, just one car length behind. Being too close here is not heavily awarded, just clean and controlled driving. This was the battle I needed to win. If I won, it would mean that I would make it to top 4 out of 32 drivers, putting me into contention for a podium finish. I pulled off to the side and eagerly waited for the results.
Good G, man. Good G. Aki, you know how to fucking build a good car, man. Holy fuck.
But then, the judges called a one more time.
What's up? Okay. That's a one more time.
A one more time is run when the judges feel like they couldn't pick a winner. It means that we were neck and neck.
You can actually line up.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing as last time.
Okay.
The battle we just did was too close to call, so they decided to run it a second time. I knew it was finally time to pull out all stops. We got straight back in line, and on this run, I didn't hold back. I knew I had to pull off a good lead run again, but this run was by far the smoothest lead run I did all day. My transitions were way more confident, but even in the tricky hairpin section, I could still hear that pesky E46 right behind me the entire time. I didn't know who this guy was, but he was definitely an experienced driver. So when it was my turn, I ignored Bryson's warnings and I went for his door. Half a car length closer would guarantee me a spot in top 4. This time, I was going for the win. But then, I mistakenly took the inner line, and since I had more grip than him, it was too fast. I tried to use the e-brake to correct, but now my other hand was tied up. I ran out of skill, and for a split second, I straightened.
Damn it! Fuck, man.
I was eliminated.
Damn, I'm not sure, man. I messed up pretty hard there, but...
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed in myself. I mean, I had something to prove with all that driving I did in Japan. Was it all for nothing? And having John lend me his car made me want to get podium that much more. Yet, impressively, what CDS has done is cultivate an environment where drivers can get extremely good. It was impressive to see. The driver that knocked me out ended up getting second place, but reality hit when I realized my S13 was still completely and helplessly broken. I had no idea how I was gonna get home. But once again, saving the day, John offered to trailer my hurt S13 instead of his own car. I drove the G35 home. And it's funny, I had only met John a few months ago. Technically, I'm still a stranger to him, but this really shows the type of character he is. In fact, the love and support from this new CDS community reminded me of why I do this at all. Heat-stroked, starving and sleep deprived, all that work just for my car to break in 3 laps. Oftentimes, this is the reality of drifting. But because of people like John, because people like the CDS crew and all the insanely talented drivers, means that I can't wait to do this all over again. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing.